I couldn't articulate it, but when I explain the story, you see where I'm coming from. She's like, yeah, I get it, right? And you'll get that sense, you'll get that feel when you knock on enough doors. When you first start off in whatever you're doing, push your narrative, do what you want to do, and see the reaction. All right, my friends, the Ultimate OD podcast. On a spring break week, we have a little bit of trust issues. Let's talk about trust, playing the long game, closing thought of the episode. This is the Ultimate OD podcast. Here we go. All right, my friends, the Ultimate OD podcast. Thank you for tuning in, subscribing, listening. Love what we do. Love optometry. Greatest profession in the world. It's been 6 months now, I think, since I've added the associate, and things are going pretty good. We're getting momentum. Over the past 6 months, we've worked really hard to get her up to speed to function in the environment that we have, and she's starting to take off. Her average revenue for patients going up. We're getting her schedule more filled. We are pre-pointing really well at a clip of about 65 to 70%. In a year, we're going to be busy, slammed, and then we're going to start growing the dry eye practice. And that's been the plan. That's what I thought would happen. Now, when we first got into the new office, you have to be ready for change, right? It's going to be new staff, new doctors, new everything. And we were a little slow. We didn't hit the ground running like I would have wanted, but I think we hit it as good as we possibly can considering the circumstances. And because of that, we had a plan, we stuck to it, constant communication. Like we talked one-on-one. We still do every single week, and we've really learned. And one of the things that I've really tried to do is be open. Just, this is what I'm doing. Let's talk about these things. Having that scorecard, knowing the metrics that matter, and focusing on the big rocks. Okay. One of the things that I think your staff, associate doctors, no one sees the big picture put together. Everyone sees their piece of the pie, and we're going to talk about that next episode. But that has a lot of influence on what you do. But you have to know what you're doing for your business. You have to know the big levers to pull and just focus on those. There's going to be a lot of little things like, hey, what about this? Is this what's holding us back? Is this what's the cause? But you trust the process and you get there. And that's something that we've really worked on. And there's a lot of little details that we can do. We've talked about, like, could we sell more supplements? Could we do little things there? Yeah, that's good. It's going to help the patient out. It's going to move the needle a little bit, but it's not a big rock. It's not going to move the needle like selling complete pairs of glasses, filling the schedule, your supply of contacts. Those are the big levers. And how do we do that? How do you do that better? And the other aspect of what we're trying to do is build a dry eye practice. Now, when you're trying to build it organically, it is so much more difficult than when you are getting referrals in. People that know there's a problem, they've been told that there is that issue, they come into your office looking for an answer. A lot easier to sell them IPL at that point, right? When they come in for a regular comprehensive exam, expecting to get glasses or contacts, and you're like, hey, there's some dryness I see. I don't feel it. The patient will always say. They come in for the dry eval if they do show up. And then you're like, hey, there's this $1,500 procedure, $2,000 procedure. Like, it's hard to sell, right? Not that they can't do it, not that we haven't done that, but we're working towards that, referral clinic. That's why we have the Rejuvenation Dry Eye Center as a DBA, and that's on if you look at our website, familyvisionoptical.com, we have a complete website for Rejuvenation Dry Eye Center. And I love dry eye. I love anterior seg. So does my associate. And one of the things that I've gotten really good at is knowing that I want to grow the practice. I got to drive revenue, and my comprehensive exams do that. And I'm much more efficient at screening my dry eye patients. I'll talk to some, but I'll schedule a dry eye eval much more infrequently than I did when I first started the clinic, right? When I first started the clinic, I couldn't get enough. But now that I'm busier, I have like I'm in the exam room less. I'm trying to schedule more efficiently and effectively. And I know the demographic that's going to convert. And I went through that. I knocked on so many doors. I figured out who would, want to do more and who wasn't going to do that. And I always try to share that with the associate. And I want to share this with you because this is something that she conveyed to me was very helpful. And I think it's just gives you perspective. Everything I do is long game, right? When I'm going to recommend glasses, contacts, in advanced therapy, myopia management, I'm trying to build a relationship. I want them to say, I did this and I saw a positive result. Now, I did this, I paid a bunch of money, and I don't know if I feel any different, or them to come back and be like, you told me this one thing, I don't think I'm going to believe you on the next thing, right? So I'm always thinking long game. And I'm going to give you an example of a patient that I had come in, and she, female, 38 years old, teacher in the area, has a couple of kids, 7, 8 years old, in that range. And when she came in, a year ago, I had changed her brand of contacts, and she said, "Hey, I don't really know if I like this brand of contact. I don't think my vision's right." That was a big issue, right? And we had tweaked a few things when she came in last time, so I'm like, we're gonna figure this out. Now, 38-year-old spending a lot of time on screens, her tear film, her ocular surface is contributing. Like I did the eval, I looked at the writing on the wall. I'm like, this is probably an issue. A daily lens would be best. We have a weekly option. What would you like to do? And we went over cost. Cost was definitely a factor in that, right? And she is someone who needs a dry eye evaluation. I gave her the weekly contact. We played with the prescription a little bit. I'm like, here, test this out. Trust me, we're gonna call you in a week. We'll see how it's going, right? And I talked to the associate. We often share, what's going on, how we're approaching it. And I love that. I love getting her perspective on what she's doing. I like offering up what I'm doing. And it's just fun to talk about that stuff, right? Or iron sharpens iron, a rising tide raises all ships. We make each other better, right? She is a great doctor and she does things that I'm trying to replicate, right? But again, I see more patients right now just because I'm the established doctor. So I get a few more things than whenever I can relay. And she asked me, she needs a dry eye eval. Why are you not scheduling that? And I said, well, she left. Her number one priority is contacts, right? And I gave her the weekly lens. One, if it works, like, oh, very good, we have the issue. I still think you need a dry eye eval, but planting a seed. Or it doesn't work, like, we need your ocular surface is the biggest issue. We need to get you a daily lens, but we need to address that dryness, right? So I was playing, regardless of what she said, I was going to put it up as the as an option. But you got to see it from the patient's perspective. They just want their contacts that they've had their entire life and be able to see, right? For me to say, hey, you need to do a dry eye evaluation before you can do contacts is not what the patient wants to hear, right? And if she fails in contacts and I'm like dry eye, she is at the age where she's like, you know what? I'm going to find someone else who will give me the answer that I want, right? So I'm like, all right, we're going to plant the seed. We called her about a week later and said, hey, how is the weekly working? And it's doing amazing. She's loving it. She had some prescription things that, going from glasses to contacts that she questioned. She's like, I just committed to the contacts. I wore them and everything's good. I did have my staff member that called say, Dr. Lilly still believes that dry eye is contributing. We need to address that. He recommends you have a dry eye evaluation. She's like, I do appreciate that, but right now, it's just not the right time. And when it came to ordering the contacts, she came in a little early because she's going on spring break, wanted to wear contacts, wasn't eligible with her insurance, and it was like a Wednesday. She had the ability to order a 3-month supply, and she's like, I'm going to get the 3 month, but it's kind of embarrassing, but I can't even order until Friday until I get paid. They're like, hey, no worries. We're going to take care of you, whatnot. And I talked to the associate. I told her exactly what I told you. And I said, I knew cost was already the issue. She's also at the age, the demographic where she's going to do the bare minimum to take care of herself, and her family is the priority, right? And so I know this going in. But because I addressed what she wanted first, not what I wanted, what is the root cause, but I got her settled, she trusts me now, right? She's like, hey, we had this issue. He found the answer. He's talking about dry eye. When I come back in the next 1 to 3 years, dry eye is going to be an issue, but we have this level of trust. She knows I'm looking out for her, right? So I'm going to, in sometime in the future, hopefully get her to get that dry eye evaluation, to get her ocular surface where it needs to be, whether that's IPL, prescription drops, supplements with omega-3s, whatever that entails. I've planted that seed, right? Whereas if I am just gung-ho, you need to do dry eye and not answering her questions, I'm going to lose the patient, right? And that's long game. And you will get a sense. And when the other doctor asked me like why I didn't do that, I explained what I was going to do, but I couldn't really articulate it. And then when we called her and she's like, yeah, I can't even pay till Friday, just want to get to spring break, and then we'll order and stuff like that. I'm like, I couldn't articulate it, but when I explain the story, you see where I'm coming from. She's like, yeah, I get it, right? And you'll get that sense, you'll get that feel when you knock on enough doors. When you first start off in whatever you're doing, push your narrative, do what you want to do, and see the reaction. Like whenever I started something new, whether it's dry eye, myopia management, getting more medical, glaucoma, macular degeneration, and I go hardcore 110%. There's going to be a percentage of patients that don't want that. I'm not the doctor for them, right? I am clunky when I first started doing it. I haven't polished my message. Like my myopia management presentation now is so laid back and so just conversational. When I first started, it was like clinical and analytical. And I lost patients because of it. It's like, this dude is trying to sell me something, right? Something I've never heard of and whatnot. Now this is an option. We go and the people that want it get it, and it's there, right? But you'll polish up your presentation. You'll get a feel for the patients, but you have to knock on so many doors. The associate that I have is like, she's like, I haven't converted many. And I'm like, how many dry eye fails have you done? We're like maybe at the time, like 10 to 15. Like, you haven't even started. Like, I was doing like 20 a month, right? Just knocking on every single door. Every single patient was getting the full court press, and we were sharpening our skills, getting everyone up to speed, right? That's the process it takes. But the underlying reason why this works, why I feel my practice is growing, is I play the long game, and I'm doubling down on trust. Can they trust what I'm telling them? This patient hopefully does now, right? So that's what I got. I hope that illustrates a point for you. You can take this trust, play the long game. You can get them to do whatever you feel is best, but they have to trust you. They have to buy in, and that starts with getting them what they want initially. That's what I got. We'll have more for you next week. Where has the time gone? We're to the closing thought of the episode, and today I will leave you with this thought. When you are dealing with staff, children, significant others, one of the biggest lessons I've learned is if you want them to feel good about who they are, it's significant others is a little harder, right? It's different. I take that away. Children, staff are the two main ones that come to mind. You always want to praise in public and discuss issues in private. So praise in public, discuss the issues, scold in private, right? And understand that when you praise, everyone is listening. When you scold, everyone is too. If you're doing it in public, the staff is watching that. They don't know the context, they don't know the situation. But when you're praising, that's the culture you want. You want to build, like, hey, they're getting the good job, right? I want that. What did they do? How do I get that? Call them out. I love group, like, hey, this person did this, single them out, and like, you did awesome. When the associate doctor at our office got her first IPL, like, it's a big deal. We call that out. We want to build that up. First time someone goes into optical in our office, great job. First workup, great job. But build up the behaviors that you want to keep on seeing, right? I don't care. Even if you know that's what we're doing, it feels good. Even if you're the most self-critical person, someone else telling you a good job and other people hearing it, they'll pat on your back, right? As the owner, you are never going to get that. Realize that now. Your pat on the back is a business well run. The 5-star reviews that your office and business gets, that is always a reflection of you. All the negative is a reflection of you as well. But know this: praise in public, discipline in private. That is something that I'm trying to encourage with my managers, with coworkers, with me as a parent. Those things are what really resonate. That's what gets the needle moving. That's what I have for you. Dr. Lily out.